Okay, this video is about Casey Zander. He's a dating coach. He's actually my favorite of the dating coaches. There's several dating coaches that are really good. He's one of the great ones. He's my favorite one. But I would give you an age group. Rich Cooper, the one I just did yesterday, he's a very good dating coach. He's more for guys 40 years of age and up who are divorced. Casey Zander is more about talking about women, I would say, ages 20 years of age to about 35, and especially who have not been married yet, okay? And they're a different group of women. They're younger, they're more entitled, they're more flaky. So he kind of goes to that. But there's overlap in both groups, of course. I previously made a video about his female manipulation matrix. He's very good talking about how women manipulate men. And he says the most reliable way to keep a woman long term is to keep your SMV, sexual mating value, above hers. Okay, and he also says the hotter the woman, the more trouble she is, the more likely she's going to play games and cause problems. So be aware of that. Femininity is the real dangerous thing. He says if a woman is cold and distant to you, she's not going to cause any problem for you. If she's a feminist or whatever, you can just stay away from her and she can't affect you. He says you have to watch out for it when they're real feminine. He says that's the dangerous thing because he says that gets your guard down. Femininity is a wolf in sheep's clothing. It makes you care about her, fall in love with her, makes you want to provide for her, protect her. Be careful because she could be a wolf in sheep's clothing. She seems so adorable, so harmless. But you have to know what you're dealing with. She might be a rattlesnake in the costume of a golden retriever. So he's funny. And then he says, let's see what else. Most men screw up. They signal too much interest, and the woman realizes that she can control them. She's biologically programmed to want to control you, to manipulate you, to emasculate you. You cannot let this happen. You have to remain a challenge. And then he says, paradoxically, the way to get her to love you is by not loving her too much. So I realize all of this will make your head spin. And he's talking about the 20 to 35 age group. And what he's basically saying is if a woman plays games, you should play games back. And by the way, I got my girlfriend over here looking at me, staring at me, saying, you better not believe all this crap or you're going to regret it. And then he says, all women are attracted to the same thing, a man who has a higher SMV than they do. If a man shows excess interest, she will lose interest. Why do women like bad boys? Because the bad boy isn't interested in her, and it makes her find him a challenge, okay? Let's see, she says, she likes to try to lower the SMV of the man that she's going out with because then she can control him. And I can tell you, my wife did a lot of this stuff, okay? Females are often not attracted to good men, okay? All right? Often good men get abused by women. Her goal is to emasculate and control the man. So he needs to not let this happen, all right? He's got a whole bunch of lectures about all this psychology and reverse psychology and psychology of psychology. But what he basically kind of comes down and says, I would say the big message from Casey is don't let her control you. Don't be dependent and needy on her. Live in your own world. Because if you start becoming dependent or needy towards her, she's just going to dump you or start causing trouble for you anyways. He calls his training system masculine behavioral training, okay? And I've seen my sons have problems with their girlfriends if they got started letting her control them. He says if a woman mocks your looks, your income status, you should break up with her. He said immediately. He said, do not put up with disrespect because it's difficult to fix. If she wants you back after that, let her beg for it, but do not put up with that kind of BS from her. If she posts attractive pictures of herself online on social media, then she is looking for another man. Do not put up with that. What does he say? He says, be very nice to her, but do not let her control you because it'll just ruin the relationship anyways. There's a whole bunch of stuff. He's got tons and tons of videos and quotes and stuff, but that was one of his big points, is that she has to know that you appreciate her, but you will not let her control you. She says, men who are too stable and too predictable, they are boring to the woman. She will take you for granted, lose attraction in you, and is more likely to leave you. The stable good man is the one who most often gets mistreated. So do not let yourself be controlled, all right? Let's see, what does he say? He says, the typical chump, when he senses a woman is pulling away, he starts sending her more text messages. He goes, it's the wrong thing to do. If a woman starts being that way towards you, you should ignore her and break up with her. Do not put up with any crap because otherwise it'll lead to more problems. What does he say? He says men in relationships try to be logical because friendships between men are logical. He says, but women are not logical. Women are emotional. The more time you spend with men doing things together, the better friends you become with them. He says, not with a woman. A woman does not care about that. She's always, in her biology, subconsciously focused on the concept of hypergamy, and therefore these types of things do not work with a woman. The logic of friendship doesn't work with a woman the way it is with a man. He says, if a woman is a bitch towards you, it is not by accident. She knows what she's doing it. She's very aware of it, so do not put up with it. If she acts like a jerk, you tell her to leave. You show her the door. You let her know you are fine alone, because if you don't, this will lead to accelerated problems. Top dog men do not allow a woman to control their behavior. Anyways, it goes on. And I'm kind of just, focusing on this theme at the moment, but he's actually very clever, very funny. But this is, again, more for emotional, kind of bitchy women in the 20 to 35 years of age. What I've seen is women get a little older, and they know when they're fortunate to find a good man, most of them, and they're sort of more grateful, appreciative, and nice and reasonable about it. But there's still an element of craziness in women that men just have to be aware of. Otherwise, they get manipulated quite badly by them. And it's just a fact. 80% of divorces are filed by women. And I've talked to tons of guys about women all through the years, and they often are playing games and constantly testing the man with all these games. Whereas a guy, he's focused on trying to do his job or his hobby, and he's not interested in playing games. He just wants things to be good between him and his woman. But she'll constantly play games, and he has to be able to respond to them. And he should also take good care of himself. If a guy gets fat and out of shape, his wife kind of loses respect for him. I've seen that happen as well. So anyways, I say go to Casey Zander. He's got a great YouTube channel, and you'll learn a lot from him.